What's something people consider smart admirable nowadays that you think is actually concerning or toxic? Hustle culture. Every few years people will look at the concept of working overtime, putting in 150, etc. and realize that it can be counterproductive. But then you'll see a flip rise where people will want workers, health gurus, etc. switch back into promoting that mindset. Hustle can good at times, but not as a whole philosophy. You tend to see a lot of young entrepreneurs falling down this path. From an observational standpoint, you can see burnout take place. Oversharing personal details and trauma to justify being a crap person. Being aware and acknowledging that you're a selfish jerk doesn't have any value in itself unless you're actually working to improve your behavior. Therapy and self-awareness is great, but we're now at the point where therapy talk is just being weaponized as a way to be an ass and still claim the superior moral high ground. I get a bit eye rolly when I see people describe themselves as independent on their dating profiles. First of all, that's not a brag. You're an adult. That's the minimum I expect. More importantly though, the very nature of being in a relationship is that you need to be good at being interdependent. Talking about how independent you are just gives off the wrong vibe. People who say that they don't care what others think about them, and they go on to describe a story of them being a shitty person or incredibly rude. You shouldn't care about what someone thinks about your style, interests, hobbies, or lifestyle. You absolutely should care about the way you interact with people in this world. Piracy, the devaluing of labor, should be terrifying to anyone who understands how weak the average person already is under capitalism. Saying it's not stealing if I'm not taking a physical object away from you is the ultimate expression of how the worker has nothing of value. Being a pothead stoner as a personality trait. It's not addictive because you don't get life-threatening withdrawal symptoms. You don't get life-threatening withdrawal symptoms when you stop watching porn or gambling. But that doesn't mean it's not addictive. When people who are clearly malignant narcissists are given attention, money, fame, validation, and adoration, even after news breaks that they predictably hurt to abuse someone else, especially try out for social media influencers. Being your own boss. I feel like a lot of people don't understand the risks and how much work it is before jumping into it. Plus, as all of those MLMs and shady businesses that use that mindset to scam or prey on people. The whole quit your job, take a risk bullshit advice. These people usually leave out that they could afford to quit their job because they got some big pile of unearned money from an inheritance or settlement. Victimhood has got to be my biggest, that an anti-organization, like supporting people stealing from their company, because it is a multi-billion-dollar organization. That doesn't pay them enough anyway. The whole 13-year-old edgy nihilism where you just say everything sucks. Nothing matters. Nothing is ever going to get better. People suck. You deserve to be mocked for having hope thing. Not taking any time off from work and being proud of it. People say things like I haven't been on a vacation for over 5 years as a flex ... when it's just sad and extremely concerning. Working all the time outside normal business hours. This is horrible for a person's well-being, even if they love the work. Worse if they have a family and friends that they're not seeing. Grind culture. It all boils down to this general attitude of, oh yeah bro, I'm getting so ahead of the plebs by devoting 20 hours of every day to non-stop working. The concept of alpha male. It's just a rebranding of asshole based on a flawed study of wolves in captivity. Wolves edit wild dogs are actually democratic. Hustling usually just involves overworking yourself or getting underpaid, then bragging about spending money even though you have no free time. Someone patting themselves on the back because at least they said it to their face. No. That's worse. Murmur in the group chat like an adult. You psycho. Diva-like personalities pushing to ban the word bossy instead of altering their own behavior to be nicer and more agreeable to peers. Holding doors for people when they're really far away from you. It's incredibly awkward and not as polite as people think. Drinking coffee and or not getting a lot of sleep. People seem to think these things are good, but they are really not. If people think the goal of life is to make millions. Ulmao. The goal of life is to be happy and have a loving family. Flipping houses. It's great for you to make money, but it's making the housing market unreachable for most people. Labeling everything ... I know it can be reassuring to identify with a label, but it eventually becomes limiting. High number of sexual partners, especially if many of said sexual encounters were outside of relationships. Being pessimistic about everything is considered smart by far too many, especially on this site. Arguing and wanting to win a debate instead of engaging in a healthy, open-minded discussion. Practicing gratitude when your life is actually dogshit. It to me just teaches compliancy. Identifying oneself by one's trauma. This is how you create someone who is unable to heal. Always keeping busy. There is a lot of value in slowing down and being still at times. Living for the grind, like, dude, take a day off work, they don't give a shit. My single parent can raise his family on their own. Said no child ever. Endless negativity and cynicism, particularly prevalent on Reddit. Lying on your taxes, exploiting people with 100 profit. Encourage one person to compare him or her with others.